How are you today? Did you ever come to a realization that a story you've been telling, which places blame elsewhere, actually, it turns out that you consented to it all along and that the story was not exactly true? That happened to me just recently. And I was in the middle of a meditation, actually, and I sat down, quieted my mind, sipped on a cup of tea, and then closed my eyes and went into a deep blessing of the energy centers, which is a practice taught by Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And you can actually grab it on his website if it's something you're interested in. But anyway, I was in the middle of this meditation, and all of a sudden, I was drawn to my neck and shoulders on the left side, which I've been having aggravation in for, gosh, almost 9 years. And this voice in my head said, yeah, but you consented to it. And immediately I just relaxed and I started to unwind the story. And let me tell you what that was. So, about 9 years ago, I had a problem with a tooth on my left side. And I went to this dentist. And she looked at it and she said, okay, well, it's going to need a root canal. And I probably should send you to a specialist. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to a specialist. And the reason is because at that point in time, I had no health insurance, no dental insurance whatsoever. And so, of course, I was looking for the least expensive way to deal with this issue. And she said, well, I can do it, but it's not my expertise. I said, I think you can do it. And of course, as the procedure went on and I was sedated heavily, I might add, a problem came up. And she had broken the blade off inside my tooth when she was grinding out the inside of my root canal. I didn't know this. I was under deep intoxication. All I knew is that she was pushing really hard and fidgeting around in there and looking over at her assistant with some magnitude of frustration. And they left the room and they came back and she said, so here's the deal. I've broken the blade off in your tooth and I can't get it out. And so she gave me a choice. And the two choices were she could either pull it or just fill it in. And of course, I was not going to have a tooth pulled. That I just wasn't going to have a tooth pulled. And so she went ahead and filled it in. And within a day, I started having nerve pain up in my neck right here and down into my shoulder. And I just figured it was going to go away. So I didn't really do anything about it at the time. And things went on, and this pain became a frozen shoulder over time. And so for the next few years, I have visited physical therapists. I've visited different chiropractors. I've visited acupuncturists. I've gone to massage. I've done all the exercises that the physical therapist has assigned to me to do. And with some minor successes, but it felt like it has just felt like it's just stuck. I've taken ibuprofen. I actually went and got a cortisone shot. And that worked for about 6 weeks. And then it came back. And I just didn't understand it. But the aggravation was there. The fact that now, because I'm having to try and move it, and the physical therapist has literally forced me into moving it more, it's starting to release, but now it's just sore muscles all the time. And so time has gone by, and I've been keeping up with my meditations as usual, and doing my exercises, and going through the processes of visiting the chiropractor every week, and um, minimal movement. But then I get this message in my brain, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's the story I haven't been telling people. I've been telling them about this horrible experience I had with this dentist who, I'm painting a picture of someone who did not know what they were doing, and this is what happened. But in reality, I consented to it. And guess what? This has shifted in the last few days to where it's half of what the aggravation it was before this meditation. And I wonder if anyone else has had this experience of having this story that you tell. And the story just goes on, and you keep telling the story. In the meantime, nothing's changing, or it's changing really slowly. And then all of a sudden you admit to your part in it. And your body says, yeah, you did. And it starts to release. It's as if I needed to signal my body that I am willing to forgive and I am willing to forget, because I took part in this decision. I gave consent for this to all take place. And it makes me wonder about people with different illnesses. Is there a point where you're missing something? I've had people in my own family who've been very ill, and I wonder, was there something they missed? Was there something that their body is carrying that's emotional pain that needs to be brought to the forefront and forgiven and allowed to dissipate? I tell you, it's a firsthand experience for me. I've learned these teachings. I've heard about people who have these periods of time where all of a sudden they get well after long sufferings. And now I've experienced a little bit of that myself. And so I just challenge each one of you to take a look. If there's something that's bugging you, ask yourself, what's under the story that I'm not missing? And maybe even just sit in quiet with a cup of tea and ask yourself, show me what I'm missing. Show me the deep part of the story so that I can let go, so that I can forgive, so that I can show up as my best self. Whatever it is that you want to do. You want to be your best self, right? Anyway, that's my story today. And today I'm drinking Bride's Bliss. And Bride's Bliss is one of my teas that I have designed. And Bride's Bliss is a white tea with lemon myrtle, rose petals, and vanilla bean and white tea. And lemon myrtle is kind of interesting because lemon myrtle actually releases pheromones. So if there's somebody out there that you are attracted to and you want to attract them to you, you might want to infuse yourself up a little magic and try some Bright's Bliss. That's why I created it. And it's February, the month of love. Give it a shot. I hope you have a beautiful day. I am certainly going to have a beautiful day. And may you be blessed.